are the steps to buying your first house? And as a matter of fact, what are the steps to buying a house in general? Because maybe you've bought a home before, but you're trying to buy another one. It's maybe been 10 years or so, and you're just trying to get a bit of a refresher on all the steps involved, because it kind of can be a complicated process. So my name is Devin Cook, a luxury realtor here in DFW, and I'm gonna be going through all of the steps it takes to buy a house here in Texas, and as a matter of fact, in most places across America. And I've broken these up into 10 simple steps, so feel free to take notes, or you can always just rewatch the video. Now, step number one that you need to do is hire an agent. And the reason this is the first step is because an agent is gonna be there with you step by step through this entire process to help you out, help you get financing, help you get through the offers, get them accepted, get to the closing table, and finally moved into your house. So the agent that you choose is gonna be crucial to helping this go smoothly and as smoothly as possible. Trust me, the better the agent you get, the better this process is going to be. If you have any questions or you want to buy or sell a house in DFW, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or leave a comment down below and we'll get in touch. Now, the second step you need to make is decide on how you're going to finance this house. Are you gonna be paying cash, or are you gonna get pre-approved and use financing with a lender? And if that's the case, then we need to get you pre-approved, which means you need to provide your pay stubs, your bank statements, and your tax returns to your lender and any other documents that they require, so that way they can issue you a pre-approval letter, which is basically your ticket to start shopping for homes. Now, the third step is to establish your time frame. Are you looking to buy a house within a month, within a year, within 3 months, or within 45 days? Whatever your time frame is, you need to be aware of what that is and let your agent and your lender know, so that way they can help you move towards that goal in a timely manner. Now, the fourth step is where honestly things get really fun, because up to this point it's just been a lot of paperwork with the lender and finding an agent. But the fourth step is looking at houses, and the average person looks at about 8 houses before they find their right one. So don't feel like you have to buy that first house, although don't go against buying that first house either, because I've had experiences with clients where they saw the first house, they loved it, but they didn't want to buy it because it was the first house we looked at. And then it ended up selling to someone else, and my clients were actually quite disappointed that they didn't get that house, and they ultimately just compared every other house afterwards to that one. And so even if it's the first house that you look at, don't be afraid to put in an offer, but also don't feel any pressure to do so as well. Now, once you've found the right house and you want to buy it, you move on to step number 5, which is to write an offer on a home. And there's a lot of steps to writing offers and getting your offers accepted. I'm not going to go through that in this video. I have made another video about it, so feel free to check that out. Now, step number 6 is very simple. It's just getting your offer accepted and going under contract on a property, and then you get to move on to step number 7, which is your option or your due diligence period. Now, this is just the time frame that you're going to have, typically 7 to 10 days or so, depending on what you negotiated. It can also be 3 to 5 days if you negotiated really hard. And this is when you're going to be getting the inspection on your property. This inspection is going to be a 2 to 3 hour inspection. You're going to get probably a 50-page report back with like 30 to 40 things wrong with the house. Now, don't be alarmed. This happens with every house pretty much, even multi-million-dollar homes, even brand new homes. No house is perfect, so don't expect yours to be. The main things we're concerned with here are the big ticket items like the foundation, the electrical, the plumbing, the roof, the things that we don't want you to have to move into the house and then 3 weeks later you realize the roof is shot and you gotta spend $50, $60, $70, $80,000 to fix it. So we wanna make sure those big ticket items are just good to go, or as good to go as possible, and we're going to negotiate with the sellers to get them to either credit you some money towards closing costs, reduce that purchase price, or even fix some things as well themselves before we close on the property. Now, once we've gotten through those negotiations, we get to move on to step number 8, which is to continue your financing approval with the lender. That means that you're going to order an appraisal and get that appraisal done on the property to get that value placed on the property for the lender, so they know they're making a good choice in giving you the loan. You're also going to have to provide a bunch of different documents to the lender. Sometimes they're going to ask you to provide the same document multiple times or updated versions of the same document. So just bear with them, be patient, understand that they're taking a big risk by giving you a lot of money. And so they do just want to make sure to do their due diligence and make sure to minimize their risk as much as possible. That's why they get so many documents. Now, once you've gotten your final loan approval from the lender, which basically means that you officially get to buy the house, we're going to go to step 9, which is to do a final walkthrough on the property. And this final walkthrough is just to make sure that the property is in the same condition that we expect it to be. Also, if we negotiated any repairs, we're going to go ahead and make make sure those repairs were done properly as well. And then after that final walkthrough, which is usually just maybe a day or two, maybe 3 days or so before closing, we move on to step number 10, which is closing on the property. Now, the main thing with closing is just to make sure not to get carpal tunnel syndrome on your wrist, because you're gonna be signing basically a stack of documents so large. And so what you're gonna wanna do is just go to the closing table. Feel free to ask the title officer any questions about any of the documents. The lender is gonna be there as well. It typically takes about an hour, and you're gonna need to bring a government issued ID and also the funds for closing, your down payment and your closing costs. And then once that's finished, you have signed and the sellers have also signed. And once the title company and lender have sent all of the money to the appropriate places, you get to pick up the keys and move into your new home. So in 10 steps, that's how to buy a house. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below or reach out to me over on Instagram.